Detroit Business Hub Group Director Nancy O'Neill works with her team of experts. Listen to conversations with business professionals to discover the latest business innovations, insights, and trends. Find out what's hot and what's not in today's business market.
Hi, Melissa. How are you?
Good, Nancy. It's great to be here.
Yes, I'm glad to have you as a guest of our show. Of course, you're the marketing coordinator for Detroit Business Hub Group. Tell us how you found out about the organization, and also take a couple of minutes to introduce yourself as well.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Yes, I am Melissa Davis. I own Wise Digital Marketing, and I also sit on the board for the Detroit Business Hub Group. How I found out about the group was through Nancy and helping with their marketing needs that they had in 2020. Just in my conversations with her, I said, let me just stick around and really help this business, this incubator really grow and be the beacon it is in Detroit. So I own a digital marketing agency in the Metro Detroit area. I've been in the digital marketing space for like over 25 years. I love it. I love marketing. I love digital marketing. And so I just basically help small businesses with their marketing strategies, understanding their paid advertising and how to use that in planning, as well as what they need to do from a content marketing standpoint, which includes social media, emails, and things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, you did help us out quite a bit with the marketing. So it's definitely been an asset for the organization, and you even put a marketing plan intact for us to help us better engage with our clients and prospective clients and prospects. So we really do appreciate that. So tell us what's going on. We haven't really caught up with each other in a minute.
Yeah.
How is the market doing right now? What are some of the trends? Catch us up to speed.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah. There's lots of interesting things that are happening from a marketing standpoint in the space, especially for small businesses. As we all kind of come around the corner, we're rounding the corner of COVID. What I'm seeing a lot of businesses are recognizing is that as they ease back into normalcy, per se, they're going to keep some of the same processes and things that they did with COVID. And one of the main things that they're keeping is, a lot more online sales, online virtual communications. So
right.
How people are now used to it. This is something that I longed for, and now everybody's really used to online sales. They're used to curbside pickup. And so certain businesses are keeping that, or looking to keep that, because it is a revenue generator for them. Then there's those businesses that needed a digital presence, and when they created one, that opened the doors for them, not only locally, but nationally as well. And so gaining more national clients and thinking of our customers and clients outside of their backyard. So to be able to really keep establishing that relationship with them, that's one of the major trends, is that now it's a must. Digital marketing is something that you got to have. And if you still are struggling with it, this is something that now is such an expectation. It really becomes a weakness if you don't have your online presence, your digital marketing, email marketing in place for your business, because now it's just becomes expected for people.
Right. And I think the other thing too about online ordering and curbside pickup, it just comes down to convenience. Like, a lot of people, they don't want to have to go into the store, wait in the long lines. Like, now we're spoiled. It's like, just bring it out to the car.
Bring it out to the car. Yeah, let me order. It's funny because we're spoiled, especially us of an older generation, the Gen Xers, older millennials, obviously baby boomers. Right. But the younger generation, this is all they know. They don't know how to pick up a phone to make an order. You used to use an app or going online and doing it. And so you have to be able to communicate to those people. And so you need to know where they are. And so knowing how to find your customers online is something that is critical that you have to have in place. You need to know who they are and how to target them and how to get around the new noise that's out there, because now you're not the only small businesses that are trying to attract them. So.
Right. So what are some of the things that you do to help businesses, specifically small businesses, make those leaps? Like, say they don't have that much of an online presence, maybe they're more of a brick and mortar and they're used to, maybe they cater to that baby boomer generation, and they are used to people, the traditional, so they come into the store, a salesperson asks them if they need help, they say no, they don't need any help. When they need help, there's nobody there. They get upset. How are you helping those types of businesses get onto an online platform?
Well, first and foremost is definitely just putting in the systems in place. Most businesses, you have to, especially if you are transacting and you're collecting dollars,
Right.
There are some systems that can kind of help you, and you can kind of you kind of feed off of those. So like if you're an online store, you may be using systems like Square or some sort of point of service.
Right.
They have ways of like, okay, let's help you and kind of adding on to creating that online store. So you want to start with like just knowing what your systems you have in place.
Right.
So you need to have you need to have a system where people could to purchase. So a checkout system.
Yeah.
You need to have an email service system. So you need to have ability to send and receive emails from your customers. So that way you can tell them about certain things. And then lastly, you just need to have a presence so people can find you online. I tell people at least start with Google My Business. If you don't have a Google My Business, and that's what it is. You just go to Google and you put in Google My Business and you get it free and you get yourself set up where people who can find you when they Google.
Right.
So you just want to make sure that you're out there so people know that you exist as a bricks and mortar. And then from there, just take what those products and services that you offer and create a platform, a website platform for them. And then the main thing is to get people to see your products and to transact, to be able to pay for your products and services. And do it in a way where, you just recoup, you make that initial investment, and then you start to receive the revenue from it. And then you go into pouring into creating some sort of sophisticated type of website. You may have a bricks and mortar, but don't think you can just jump into becoming an Amazon.
Oh no, there's only one Amazon right now.
There's only one Amazon. You can't become Amazon and have all those features right away. But keep it simple. But there's different platforms that you can do that really kind of help you to keep it simple, make it simple for you as a business to be able to look professional and receive sales through. So that's usually what I'm telling most small businesses right now, to do that.
Yeah, because I think I don't know if you saw the movie Like a Boss, but when I saw the movie, that was when I think the main characters' names were Mel and Mia. That was one of the things that kind of messed them up financially. They went and they had started their business online. They went and got a brick and mortar. They ended up getting like hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt. So I think now, to me, the online space is almost more important than the brick and mortar, especially during COVID when stores were closed. You couldn't even go to the store if you wanted to.
Yeah. I mean, it is more important. I mean, there are definitely those businesses that are going to give you an experience, right? You want to sit down and have an amazing meal, like in a restaurant that's going to give you all these, hits all your five senses.
Right.
But then there's sometimes you just want to just get a meal. You just want to go out there and get something real quick, and you do everything, online, and have like, what they call like now, like, contactless transactions where everything is on it.
Yeah, McDonald's just throws the food at the front porch now. They don't. They do knock on the door. I'm like, did they show up? Are they here? And I'm like, it's snowing outside. We want our fries hot. You don't even know when it showed up. You just had to check the app, but it's like we dropped your food off on the front porch.
Drop
Like,
off
wow.
on the front porch. Sometimes it's take a picture of it. You're like, okay, you know. But we've all gotten used to that. But so that's the thing that, you know, for bricks and mortars to think about, that they just need to look at that. And I know some, you know, some of them, it may sound intimidating, but there are definitely some simple tools to help just get you online. It's just that initial setup is the most intimidating part. But once you're done with that, it's just easy. It's just more or less just making sure your products are stocked, you know, and you fulfill. Right. You fulfill and service your clients and customers.
Yeah, that's one thing that I love about DBHG is it just being really a service business, that we don't have to keep inventory in stock. So yeah, I love that. I used to sell Mary Kay, and I mean, you call and somebody wants something, you know, that one shade of lipstick that you don't have in stock, and they're like, "Oh, when are you going to get it?" So then you're like stressed out trying to get them a tube of lipstick. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to change this business model. But I love selling it. I mean, it helped me out quite a bit. It just seemed like it was, you know, for a season. So I still wear Mary Kay today.
Yeah. You know what? Hey, and there's those businesses that are definitely for a season. I know a lot of new businesses cropped up in 2020, and a lot of them will be very, very successful. But some of them they're going to be for a season. It just kind of helps out. But
right,
that's part of life, right? We all grow and change and do different things at different times.
Yeah, and like we've kind of been saying in some of our other trainings and teachable courses and things, you know, a lot of business, well, not a lot, but some businesses went out of business in 2020 because they failed to pivot. Mm-hmm. And I think, you know, not pivoting to that online platform hurt a lot of businesses. And maybe by the time that they started to think about, well, maybe we should be online, maybe we should have a presentable website, it's too late now.
Yeah. The pivoting and being nimble that is one of the superpowers of any small business owner, entrepreneur. You got to be able to do that, you know, and you need to do it quickly. I know some stories of folks who, you know, they pivot away from what they were selling, and you heard about them starting to sell hand sanitizer, the bar.
Even the larger companies, they were doing the same thing. The big three, they started selling masks. Yeah. So there you go.
Be ready. Yeah, you gotta be ready, or you just gotta think fast and just pivot with the times. And the art of pivoting is something I think now people see it and get it, but get it. Yeah, people do see that for sure.
Yeah. So I would also say, in addition to pivoting, what about scaling? Because this is a time where I guess 2020 was really lean for a lot of people in terms of business. But if someone wants to grow or scale their business, do you think point A is marketing? Is that step one?
Okay. That is definitely one of the big steps to kind of grow your business, right? Because, you know, you have, which is amazing, you have all these opportunities, especially for those out there who are able to get grants and loans, right, for their business. And they need to kind of show some of the efforts in their businesses. Marketing is a great area to show it in, because you want to be able to scale. So if you start off with digital and you basically let your current customer list know that you're open for business and you can go online and purchase your products and services, that's great. So now you want to scale it. You know, now that you are not limited by the walls, you may want to scale it across the nation. So doing that online and trying to reaching people online, that's a great efficient way of doing it through digital marketing. And that's what I have done and continue to do with some of my clients, is just getting the word out to let them know that they're here, what they offer, and learning how to scale their business and follow people through that buyer's journey. So they know that, okay, it only is going to cost me this amount of money in terms of advertising spend, and I'm going to get a return of X. Now, pour it in. You're going to reach a diminishing return point, but this is the time to start doing it, because now people are being active right now. All my folks who are in like the travel industry, this is the time. People are planning. People are starting to do more travel. I was just traveling. And I was surprised to see how many people were at the airport. You know, it was a little terrifying. But like, my goodness, you know, there's a lot of people here. It seemed almost normal. But this is the time for especially those who own travel industry type of businesses. This is the time to scale, to let people know what's happening with your business. So getting out there, and you have to communicate that. So letting people know, and you could definitely do that through paid advertising and email marketing for sure.
Okay. When you say email marketing, how do you build your list up? Like, what are some strategies that you have for building your list? Or in our case with YouTube, building your subscribers, kind of like you were saying when you did our marketing plan, engaging your customers and prospects more.
Yes, you need to, excuse me. You need to engage your customers. And the one thing is just being consistent and content. You need to get content out there, and you need to be consistent. So like from a YouTube standpoint, you know, YouTube algorithms loves consistency and loves engagement. And if you put content out on a regular basis and then people engage, you constantly will tell people to like and subscribe your information. That can kind of help grow and scale. And then you just drop the offer once you start to do that. A great way to gather leads is definitely through paid advertising. You can ask the question. You can offer a small item, small freebie, or a discount or a coupon code, and collect an email address. So definitely email marketing is critical. You want to grow that list, and it's easy to do that through marketing and paid online strategies and advertising. Facebook's a great place to do it. Fairly easy. You stay on the platform. It's a wonderful place to grow, to gain leads.
Right.
I have lots of clients that are doing that right now and adding to their customer list. And then that way, then they can start to talk to them and start to nurture that conversation with them and become familiar with them. And then they can make them the offer. So.
Yeah. So when you say like, when you talk about YouTube, are you suggesting taking it one off YouTube, like email campaign, like Constant Contact or MailChimp? We use Aweber. So do you think those are effective tools as well?
Yes. You definitely need an email marketing tool. So like the Aweber, Constant Contact, and you want to set up like a series of messages to your customers and to people who are online. And that, because the rule of thumb usually is when it comes to, gaining people who are going to be a part of your customer list, is you got to touch them at least, 6-7 times. And one of the easiest ways of doing that is sending out an email. You could send out an email, depending on your business, sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly. You want to just make sure that people are abreast of what you are, what you're doing. And you want to stay top of mind. It's noisy out there right now. When people go online, you're getting bombarded at least 2,000 times a day, with messages.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. So you got to stand out from the crowd. And a way of doing that is at least getting into the inbox. And then I tell people, don't sleep on text marketing. Text messages, SMS messages are, for certain industries work really well. The open rates are outrageous because it's more intimate. You're closer to the people, you ask for that information, and people who want to know will give it up. They want to stay that close to you. So that's another area that you can use to actually complement some of the things that you might be doing in email marketing, if that fits in the industry that you're in.
Yeah, I actually prefer to get a text versus an email for a couple reasons. One, I know the message is going to be shorter most of the time. And two, I get less text messages. Like you said, we're getting like 100 plus emails a day. You're just like buried in emails. You just you're just blanking out. Like, I don't have time to read all of these.
It's true. So, so the subject line of the email is very critical. And then some people, believe in the just keep flooding the box method. But I think that leads to like larger numbers of unsubscribes. It ends up being like a numbers game. But I think I do believe in not sending out an email that's like as long as a book, because
Right,
everybody's reading those. They're reading them on their phone anyway, and then it looks longer on the phone. So you're
It
like, oh
does.
my gosh, so you just want to get short, sweet, to the point. Get them to where you have more information. A good way of doing that is, get away from the text and use more imagery. That's another big thing that is now video rules, getting video, getting images, that is taking the place of text, because people don't want to read. They're not reading anyway. They haven't read. They don't read. People don't read websites. They haven't read websites since 1990s, so they're not reading. But people are watching video, and they'll watch a snippet, especially in, like on YouTube or on other social media platforms. You provide them a snippet to get them interested, and they become engaged, and then you provide some more information. And you could do that through email. You could do that through text as well.
Yeah, I don't know. I think some people still read, like, we have to read in the industries we're in, but I think like 5% of our, you see how many hits we get on our website a month, because you're on the back end office. Like 5% of our leads, most of them come from Facebook. A lot of them come from the blogs that I send out a few times a week. So
yep.
I don't know if they're just going to the blogs because they're initially interested. A lot of times I add an image. So I don't know if they want to look at the bigger size of the image. I don't really know the rationale for them going to the blogs. But some people read the blogs, like you said, they're not like reading. They're like, kind of skimming over the information to see what they can get out of it. Or if there's an upcoming event, they might be going to the blog to get, the 5 W's and 1 H of the event. I don't really know, but people are at least clicking on the blogs. It's at least getting them to the website.
Yep. People, and that's a good way. People are just wanting to be informed. You're part of their ecosystem. The whole idea is just staying in front of them. And that's what emails do, whether they open it or not. But they open yours, you're staying in front of them, and then they can kind of click through and get to the information that they need. When they need it.
Right. I think that's the thing, because, obviously when we have events coming up, like our engagement level on our website is like double what it is when, in between events. But just like, for instance, with blogs, I could just be kind of roaming on my phone, and then that Google news feed will come up, and I'll see, the Obamas or somebody on there. And I'm like, oh, what's going on with Sasha? I can read it right here. Or they have like Beyonce and Jay-Z on there, like, I swear, like 3 times a day. I'm like, oh my God, she's back again. I'm like, Beyonce's becoming like a personal friend of mine. I mean, it's just crazy. It's just like you're just inundated with information all the time. So sometimes even if you're just kind of glancing through things and you're really not trying to look for anything in particular, it's just right there.
And it's important because it's right there, and it's personalized for you. Because, but especially Google, and what Google is doing is they know how they have enough data in terms of how what are you interested in.
Right.
You're putting in search things. You're putting in different keywords, different terms. So they know to bring back to you that information. Like right now, I'm a huge basketball fan. So we're about to start the NCAA college March Madness. So what's coming up in my feed a lot is like, okay, the game's coming on tomorrow. Make sure you get your bracket in, what's happening with this team. It's all coming up because they know, and
they know what you like.
There's enough data. I mean, I know people who are concerned about privacy. Facebook, Google, they've been around for over 10 years. There's enough data. They have enough behavioral data to know exactly how people are going to react and act at this time, of the year, and they know what to serve up. And that's the power of the AI. So it's, you put that content out, and the right people are going to see it because they're kind of looking for it. And everybody, there's a tribe, there's a spot for everybody. Everybody wants to find out some information.
Well, the other thing too is like you go to a store, and I'm not sure what all the technical terms are called, but basically they're gathering your information like right from your computer. So then all of a sudden these ads start popping up. Every time you're trying to do research or something, here goes the ad for the store, the website you were just on. And I'm like, I don't really know how like that's ethically legal. I don't know if that's the cookies that they talk about, like accept cookies, but it just kind of freaks me out. So I'm just like, wait a minute, I was just on this website. Now they're like, now I'm getting like 10 ads for you guys a day.
Yep. It is the third party cookies. And people are concerned about the ethics to the point right now that's going away. That's one of the other trends that people need to look at and think about in 2021. Third party cookies are going away. And what that means is that, like, if you go to DSW, look for a pair of shoes, the shoes are not following you around
wait a minute.
It's going to stop a little bit, but what's happening is that Google has already said they're stopping the third-party cookies starting in 2022. So that's going away. But the reason why they're saying that now, and then other sites are doing it because people are putting up ad blockers. And so, but the reason they're saying it now, because they already have enough data and they have first-party data. So that's
they don't need it anymore. I was like, well, the only reason why it's going away is because they came up with something better.
They came up and they asked you. They said, Nancy, do you want some?
You signed up for this.
They said, do you like wedges this spring? They said they sent out a nice little survey, and then you said, yeah, I do like wedges. Okay, you thought it was just a cute little poll, right? Then all of a sudden, you're still going to get served ads, and you're like, oh wow, I was thinking about wedges. Oh, look, here's an ad. It won't be obvious. It won't
now, this is the thing that you'll really get me with this. If you tell me that Google and Amazon are in partnership with each other, I'm like, I'm done. I'm like, Amazon, they're taking over everything.
They have. It's funny. You know what? I think the government wants to keep those two separate, but
I hope so.
It's, what the problem is not really Google as much as Amazon, because Amazon is partnered with a lot of other businesses because Amazon has the servers. So people are like using Amazon servers because they have huge server farms. So when I mean people, I'm talking about your Walmarts of the world, your restaurants. They all are pushing their data through Amazon servers. So that's where
I'm seeing the connections here.
Yeah, so that's where Amazon's getting their data, and then Google is just getting the data because everybody uses Google. And
that's true.
So they already have it. Google's like, we got you. We know who you are.
Exactly. I'm like, what privacy? There's no privacy anymore.
Seriously off the grid. You try to be private. It's hard. It's hard to do that. But by law, they're trying to get away from third-party cookies because people are concerned, and so more businesses now today than ever, really need to foster those relationships with their first-party customers. And I just put up a post and an article on this on my handles right now about. You got to foster that first party relationship. So all those people you get emails, you need to get an email address and just start talking to them.
Yeah.
That's considered first party. And with that, you will find more people like them who like you and want to do business with you. And so that's the thing that you want to think about when you're advertising, just getting information and establishing that relationship with that customer or that client.
Okay. All right. So in terms of scaling, we haven't really talked about event marketing. We talked about getting in front of people, making first of all, making the connection and then starting to build on that rapport, build that relationship.
Yes.
Is event marketing, is that becoming a thing of the past? Is it still popular today? What are the trends on that?
Oh yeah, it is popular today. What people are finding out. I mean, I have one client that a lot of people went to virtual events last year, right?
Right. That's the only choice we had.
The only choice we had. Virtual events, and it was bumpy for some people, if they weren't used to it. And there's some good platforms, some great platforms, some excellent platforms out there. One of my favorite is Hopin. I love Hopin. It's a great platform, easy to use. That's one of the things that from an event standpoint, you want something that's really easy to use, not a lot of hangups for people to have to get on it. So and virtual events are here to stay, because what people found out is those events that they do in person, virtual events, they got a community that's maybe outside the local area that are interested. And so they want to still maybe offer that as a hybrid solution. So you're going to start seeing people are going to be doing not only in-person event, but they're going to have a virtual component to it. So it is important. And now this year, you're going to see more people because they have a better understanding of doing pre-event efforts, pre-event marketing, and really getting people just to understand what the event is a little bit more. And then to me, the one of the secret sauce is the post-event efforts. So now the event is over, how to maintain a little bit of
kind of keep the following going. Yeah, the momentum good.
Keep the momentum going post the event by having that content ready for them, so that they're ready for the next time. But yes, you're still seeing it. I see that events probably will get back to normal from a trend standpoint, probably closer to the beginning or midway through Q3 of this year. So in the fall, you might see some more in-person events as more people get vaccinated. But they're definitely going to keep some of the virtual aspect of it. So that's going to be an option. That's going to be an option that a lot of people are going to use because it is in some aspects, an additional revenue stream for them.
It definitely is for us. So when we had the Shannon Steele event, we had a couple of people, as you know, I know you had to leave a little early, but there were a few people, at least 4 or 5, who came out of state. There were 2 gentlemen from like DC. There were a couple from Chicago. And then one of the ladies, she couldn't join us. I think she was like in South Carolina, North Carolina. But what I did was I set up a Zoom and I only invited the paid guests on Zoom to join us. So I took my little laptop up to the front of the room so she could be as close to Shannon as possible. And she was really, really appreciative. And I'm like, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner. Because, there were people who were like, well, I can't make it. Like, we have some of our members who are in banking, and the bank will tell them, like, you cannot attend any social events on behalf of the bank, because I think, they're kind of taking liability for that. If someone becomes ill at an event that the bank initially sponsored. So they would tell them, like, well, I still want to participate. What can I do? And so it's a nice option to be able to offer people, especially like they might have elderly parents at home. People have just all different types of circumstances where they don't really want to take the risk of going out in public yet.
Yep. And it's just a great option to have, especially when you have we have this great dynamic speaker series going, right?
Right.
So for like the next one, you have that option for people who just want to hear because Shannon, gosh, the gems she was dropping that day, you want to be able to be a part of that and hear that. And so this allows you to be all over the world, to be able to go to these events that maybe you dreamed of or you couldn't in the past. And now you feel more comfortable doing it. You now know how to, because everybody's been Zooming, so people know how to do it more effectively as well. So I see that from the event marketing standpoint. Event planners, yes, you're still going to be in business because we human beings have to interact. So we have to be with each other. So that's going to always be there. There's conferences that people are just chomping at the bit to get back to in person, because you got to get away, the whole idea, just a congregation of people. So that will still happen. But then there are people who are like, hey, I kind of like it. I could kick it and watch this event or be a part of it, but, do it from a virtual standpoint. So I can see that continuing to happen. Not only that, but also like even in the networking space, networking events that go on. I could see where, maybe half of them, there's going to be a percentage that are going to be hybrid, where you can kind of come there and network virtually. Better.
Yeah. And the other thing too that, I struggled with, and, we've had this discussion a few times, is placing the value on those virtual events, because, kind of people are like, well, why should I pay for this? Everything's online. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, depending on where we have the event, even if it's virtual, there could be costs involved in renting a space, different things. So I'm like, nothing in life is free. Everything costs something. How do you convince your customers or prospects to pay for these online events when they're like, well, I'm not buying any food? Like, how can you get them to see the value in the information that you're distributing?
Yeah, that's something that I know that, it requires definitely a lot of communication, but really the value comes in the content. It's what you have and what you're offering. And if you're offering it in a sort of exclusivity type of deal, where if you want to be in the room, you're going to have to pay to come in the room, or you're going to have to be selected to get like a high-end invite into the room. And there's a cost to that.
Right.
Because there's
like a VIP seat.
Yeah, there's a VIP. There's a cost to it because of all these options now that people are virtual, because you could sit at home and you could go to a virtual conference and be in like 5 conferences in 2 days, right?
Right.
Because of that, time, our time is being splintered in so many different ways. So time is money. It's still money.
Absolutely, for sure.
You need to know what's going to be the best value, the biggest bang for the buck. And, you put a price tag on it. You're going to get something out of it from a value standpoint. So yes, there's still a cost associated with, having these events, because the skill set, the information that's being shared by the event content that, could be a speaker, video, whatever, that information, is privilege.
Right.
And, you need to pay for that privilege for sure. Yes, of course, you're not paying for like the hard costs of a dinner plate in a location. But there is those other costs, those intangible costs of the content that you see, because content now is king. It's all about the content and what you can share and what you can provide to a selected group of people. So.
And I think the other thing about networking, more so to me in person than online, even though online is better than not networking at all, is you're making those connections. Like, you don't know when you're going to see this person again. You don't know how this person can help your business,
Yep.
how you can help their business if you never meet the person. So I think the networking is key. I don't know if that's a major selling point, because I'm not one to say, who's attending the event. I kind of feel like that's up to those individuals to pass that information along. But, because of privacy as well. But don't you think that's a major selling point as well?
That's a huge selling point. I mean, it's human behavior. There's only so much you can get through, a video screen to really understand if that person that you're networking with. Because networking, is partly like, oh, this is a great match that can, from a skill set standpoint, I'm networking with somebody who
Right.
I can be of value to them in their business. They could be of value in my business. That's sort of like the foundation of networking. But another aspect of networking is like, okay, can you really get along with the person? And you can only tell so much through Zoom. You're seeing
Right.
somebody from the neck up, and you don't know if you can get along with them, or their personality will strike a chord with you until you're in the room with them. You don't know if they're the type of person that they're, either they laugh out loud, they love corny jokes, those things that you may not be able to find, in a Zoom networking aspect. I mean, it's trying to get there, but it's really hard until you kind of sit there and you can get the eye wink, you can get the little smirks that you don't see,
Yeah.
in film. And those things, speak volumes, because you want to work with people that you like and people that you think you can gel with. So networking, and physical, it's not going away. It's just also human behavior. We are creatures that want to be around each other. Even those who claim that they're introverts, and I know there's a bunch of folks, but I know introverts still too want to have the opportunity to kind of at least be in the room or be around other humans, at some point, and have the choice to, for sure.
Yeah, COVID's definitely taught us that, you see people who, like you said, even introverts still have to connect with people. Like, their circles might be a lot smaller, but they're still making some kind of connections, hopefully with someone. And, that was one of the downsides that we saw with people who didn't necessarily have as many connections, that there were a lot of mental illnesses and things that were coming to the forefront that really had not been discussed before, because of COVID.
Yep.
So yeah, those connections are really important.
Yep.
Yeah. So Give us a little bit of your background. I asked you to introduce yourself earlier, but tell us who Melissa Davis is, because, and I say that because a lot of people not know it, unless they met you personally, had a conversation with you, they don't really understand like the vast experience that you have. And you don't have to like share names of the businesses you're working with right now, but tell us a few of the projects that you're working on currently right now.
Yeah, sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Who I am, if you haven't got it, I'm a big basketball fan. I'm a sci-fi geek. Like I said, I've been in this space for 25 years, so I've seen it all. I've worked with a lot of different brands, especially on those first. It's interesting because we're kind of going back towards that. It's like full circle on those first iterations of, is this digital really going to be here to stay? So
Right.
working with the Fords, the Coca-Colas of the world, the Kmart retailers. I did a lot of e-commerce. That was a big area that I focused on, as well as I worked with actually Facebook and Instagram. I've been out to Facebook's headquarters. I've seen that massive campus and been there and what they're trying to do and how they're trying to connect people through their platform. And I've done those worked with a lot of brands and helping them reach new customers online, reach different customers, reach what I like to call the growth audiences, growth market, or customers that are underserved. So minority customers, women customers, those we all play differently in the digital space, and lots of businesses aren't aware of that. They think it's kind of a monolith that everybody, okay, we get on YouTube the same way. No, not necessarily. We use Facebook the same way. No, not necessarily.
Right.
So helping, I've helped in the past different organizations. Being here in Detroit, you can't help but touch the automotive. But I worked in automotive. I've worked in home building. I've worked in energy and in retail. And really a lot of digital marketing strategies, like what makes sense for your business. Just because it's nice and shiny and you should jump in it doesn't make sense for your business, and help people flow through that and come up with a plan that will grow their business, and then tweak the plan as things change, like in 2020, tweak it, pivot.
Right.
What's the best way to pivot? So I like to do that. I love doing it with small businesses. I love finding ways of doing it where it's not such a huge investment, because obviously small business dollars are limited. And I'm on this mission from a marketing standpoint. It's part of my agency's mission, is to really make sure people understand the pure foundation of marketing, and not some of the fly-by-night type of hacks that you see online that people promote that aren't true, or that worked, but that worked 5 years ago or worked 2 years ago, and you can't do that today. So to let people understand how you should use marketing to really grow your business, and how that feeds into your sales efforts. So I've been doing that. My clients, like today, I have a lot of women-owned small businesses, a lot of business services. I do some nonprofit work, and then just straight up e-commerce clients that I help out with. I was on a call with a client today who has a pediatric office, so a doctor, and trying to understand how to reach new customer patients online. So they want to reach new customers. He's a pediatrician, and he's trying to reach moms with kids between his ages of 0 and 2. So you could do that through digital marketing. So helping him figuring out, here's some ways you can reach out and bring in new customers, with the targeting that you could do in digital. So what's the area that I love the most, understanding the targets and helping people just from a general marketing standpoint kind of get there. So that is definitely me in a nutshell. Like I said, I'm a sci-fi geek. I'm, Marvel. I watched WandaVision. That was great. I'm like I said, NCAA. I was hoping Michigan would go all the way, but I don't think that's going to happen. So Big Ten, though, we'll root for them.
Maybe Michigan State. I don't know. I don't even know. March Madness, I've not been keeping up. I did last year, and that was with quarantine, and it didn't even happen. So I was just kind of like falling off of a cliff since then.
I really wanted to go because everything's happening in Indianapolis. It's in one spot. And I'm like, oh my gosh! I'm like, to me, that's like a basketball mecca. I would love to sneak down there. I'm like, I can see everything here. So
yeah, go Hoosiers. So you talked about your experience. Let's talk about DBHG a little bit. You remember when you first met me, the one page website. I was like, oh, Melissa, you gotta help us. I need help. OMG. So you referred us to Jaffa, who we're working with now. We received a grant through the CARES Act, so we didn't have to pay anything out of pocket for the website. It looks so much better. I'm like, thank you. And I mean, had we known, and it was like, it's so much favor because I was like, this is something I want to do. We just don't have the extra funds in the budget right now. So I contacted them anyway, and she just reached out and said, hey, we have this program through the CARES Act. Why don't you go ahead and apply and see what happens? So we got the grant. I was like, oh, thank God. So we were able to save quite a bit of money on that. Tell us so in terms of DBHG, what are some of the things that we can do with this website that we couldn't do before since you're intimate with both?
Yes. So yeah, the power of that website, again, it goes back to what we were talking about this time. You want to be able to collect names and collect leads.
Right.
So you're able to, be able to collect information and kind of start that relationship with people who are interested in you. The flexibility that you have to even create blog posts and put those up there. And like you mentioned before, it's easy. You can easily just go ahead and provide that information to Jotful, and they can help you put it up for you.
Oh yeah, I put up my own blog post. It's super simple.
Yeah, and it's very simple for you to do it yourself. So it's easy. It has that flexibility there that you didn't have before. I know obviously, the color scheme, the flow of the website, the look and feel of it, the ability to add on, especially if you change your business model, you can kind of add on certain components of it, so different features that you may need. So that's what you have that now, with Jotful, with service. They do a great job up there, and it just takes that hassle off your plate where you're not like, okay, I have to spend the whole weekend figuring this sucker out.
Weekend, like 3 or 6 months. But that's what I get more compliments on the color scheme than anything else. Our graphic designer actually came up with the color scheme via Fiverr. So Fiverr. Yep. And I'm like, are you reading any of the information? I'm like, did you read any part of the blog? Like I had sent one of our prospects who had came out to one of our events in March, and she's a friend too, last March, when we first started DBHG, or that was our first, event and debut event. And so I sent a follow-up when you talked about, the following with events and things like that. And so I sent this whole long text message. All she saw was food. So she's, I sent the text message and she calls back and she's like, yeah, I saw you sent a text and said something about food. And I'm like, that's all you saw from the entire text message. It hadn't been at least a good 3 or 4 sentences. And I'm like, you know what? Please read your email. Look at the website. I was like so upset. I'm like, I can't even talk to you right now. I'm like, look at the email. Call me back if you have any questions. I was just like lost for words. But I think a lot of times when you say like people don't read, they kind of just glance or skim over things. They pick the most important thing to them. And that's kind of what sticks out in their mind.
Yes, it's true. Yeah, wasn't important them for her was food. It
Right.
was food.
Well, the thing is, the first event that we had, it was free of charge. Like we took the expense of the food on ourselves, the catering expense. And then Ellis Adele was gracious enough; he paid a large portion of it. So, in her mind, all of our events are supposed to be free, and I that was actually against my wishes. I'm like, I feel like we should charge something, like you said, when you talk about value, because a lot of times when something is free, people don't attach a value to it. So I'm like, even if it's just $10, I said we could even prorate the meal. And like Elsa's like, no, nobody knows who you are. This is how you're gonna get your name out there. If you feed them, they will come. So we both kind of had, our different opinions. Like, and it's not saying neither one of us is right or wrong. However, in her case, she was coming basically again for the food. And then I was like, well, the tickets are like $35 or $40. And she was just like shell shocked. She's like, oh, like there's a fee, attached now. And I'm like, yes, there is. Yep. And I'm like, first of all, it was just as valuable for the first event. We just can't continue to pay for people's meals anymore. But I'm like, anytime you can be in the same space as a millionaire, that's value, whether you have to pay for the bill or not. So I think, unfortunately, because of society, people think, well, if it was free, it must not be worth that much. So,
that's true. Yeah, people don't think that, and so, which I think it's a good thing, because you want to have qualified people who are really, really interested.
Yeah.
And in a virtual space, because it's so easy to just go ahead and turn off your Zoom. You want people who are going to, they shelled out some money for it. Value becomes more and more important. And I know sometimes that is so hard for some folks to understand that. But at the end of the day, the long term is, it's most important. You may not get the hundreds of people who registered and only like 20 show up, but you're going to get, you might get the 50 people who registered, and 35, 40 showed up, because
they paid for it.
They paid for it.
Yeah. And the other thing too is that I think people are more obligated. Like if it's something that's free and it's like, I'm tired, it's after work, I'm not going to that. Never mind. Yep. I'll catch the next one. They just assume the next one will be free. They'll have another event next month. 2 months, 3 months down the road, I'll go to the next one. When as a cost, I was like, hey, I paid $40 for this. I want to go to this. Even if it's time, whatever. I'm like, I didn't cook tonight. I need a meal anyway. I'm going to this.
They have to, you have to, it has to be like that, because there's too many options and opportunities for folks to do something different. So you got to put some skin in the game. You got to put some money on things, to really get people who are intent on, who have higher intents on showing up. We all do that. And I think that's just human behavior. We all do that. Trust me. My gym membership is only $10 a month, and it shows because it's only cost. If my gym membership is $300, I'd be in that gym every day.
Of course, I'm like, don't tell me you're at LA not LA Fitness. What's the Planet Fitness? Yeah. They serve pizza. I used to be there. So get me out of here. I'm like, you guys have pizza once a month. You have bagels once a month. Every time you walk in there, you're trying to give us Tootsie Rolls. I was like, oh, I got to cancel this. I'm like, let me get up out of here.
You know what? Yeah. You go in there to work out and they feed you like, oh, we'll keep you coming back. We'll keep you coming back. But, you can't beat you can't beat $10 a day. But yeah, that's people who are the $10 a day plan. Those are their best customers, because like, they're not really there.
Right. It's self-defeating too. It's like, I used to work out and my weight was not going anywhere. Okay. So I would go to Taco Bell. I'm serious. I would go to Taco Bell and go and work out. And I'm like, it's defeating the whole purpose. I'm like, because Taco Bell was right across the street from Planet Fitness. So I would go work out at Taco Bell. I said work out, Taco Bell. I go eat lunch, dinner at Taco Bell, and then I go work out for an hour. I'd be like, yeah, I got my workout in.
Yep.
And it just one canceled the other out. It was just totally pointless.
That's so true. That's so true. But the mind games we have to play just to make it through the day.
So now I'm at LA Fitness. There's a Better Health that's in the same complex. Oh, they do have Buddy's Pizza too, but I'm over the pizza thing now.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to Better Health. I might get like a protein bar or something a little bit healthier. And then my conscience is clear. When I'm working out, I'm not guilty over eating pizza. I'm definitely not going to go to the gym to eat pizza.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It just defeats the purpose. But
you got ladies who they go to LA Fitness and then they're walking out of the gym with a Buddy's pizza box. It's like, what is the point?
Yeah, I can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I told myself, like, my gym membership now, I think is $40 a month. So I said, if I don't go to the gym at least twice a week, I'm going to cancel it because otherwise it's not worth the money that you're putting into it.
Yeah, exactly. I had a rule very much like that too. I was like, every time I walk into the gym, it has to only cost me $2 to walk in. So if I'm spending more than $2, so if I have to walk in and if it's costing me more than $2 because I haven't been here that much, I'm not getting my workout in. Yeah.
But honestly, $10, you probably spend more money in the gas money that it takes you to get to the gym than the actual cost. So you really can't beat the $10 a month.
Yeah, and they keep it spotless in there, and they're so clean now. I mean, that's one of the most important things these days is the clean.
For sure.
For sure. But that's a good example of value, cost and what it means for businesses to, be able to run a profitable business. Offer, the people will pay. People will pay if you offer value.
Yep. And speaking of value, this is the last thing that I want to leave on this. Like, when you talk about value, a lot of times we feel like, let's say when you talk about an offer, I have to give something for free. So one of the friends of the organization, he said, offer your ebook when they subscribe. So I was like, that's a good idea. He's like, it doesn't cost you anything, right? I'm like, well, other than the sweat equity that it cost me to write the book, I mean, tangible dollars, it doesn't really cost me anything. I didn't have to pay for printing or anything. So that's a good idea. So we are giving that away. So when you subscribe and sign up for our email list, you will receive a free ebook, my free ebook, Fire Your Job, Be Your Own Boss. But I was going to say too, I think a lot of times with giveaways, we think we have to give away the kitchen sink, and that diminishes your value too, because you talk to top sales agents or sales coaches, and they're like, do you ever see Bentley go on sale? I'm like, no. Rolls Royce, no. Nope. Rolex, no. Occasionally St. John clothes, maybe twice a year, but that could be the department store. I don't know if that's St. John or not. I'm not sure. But I mean, things that cost a lot of money, they don't go on sale that often. So I think sometimes if you're always cutting your price in half, people are like, something's wrong with this product. Why is this product always on sale? For Gap, for instance.
It can't always be on sale. And it can't be dramatically different. I mean, it can't be dramatically reduced. It's better to just give it away free to me, to then dramatically reduce it. Because sometimes you see these offers and it's like, it originally cost us $2.99, but we're selling it today for $40. And you're saying to yourself, you're going to have to explain away. You can explain away. Why is it dramatically discounted? You have to explain that away. And if you really want that $40, just make it free. If it's $2.99 and it's $40, make it free. Because or do it where it's a donation of some sort, because you don't want to devalue your work and you don't want to devalue your products and your services to that degree. Now, I know that you could always say, you probably see marketing messages around that say here's the what we think is the core value of the book, because we personally, your book, I personally think my book is your book is probably gonna help people make $1,000, $500,000 plus with their business. So that's your value, and then you can
Right.
sell the book, for the price that, that the market would bear.
Right.
But yeah, sometimes I that's one of the marketing tactics that I just roll my eyes. I'm like, all right, unless you're saying these are old information, the data is dated, the strategies are not up to date. So that's why, but we still see some structure in here. That's why we're going to give it away. Just give it away. Don't dramatically 90% off type of deals. Those are
Yeah.
ridiculous.
But you see like a lot of coaches and stuff, and I fell for this a little bit, like they have these courses that they offer. Originally they were $600, but just tonight or just this month, and Facebook does this a lot too with their ads, it's only $99. And I'm like, why is it only $99 tonight? You're like, is the course defective? Like, what's wrong with the thing? That's what you automatically think, something's wrong with it.
I mean, yeah, if you could say that, the information is, if you are legit, like the information, it's right now it's dated, and we know Facebook or something else like in marketing, you write a book in marketing and like, okay, it's dated in digital marketing, it's dated after a year because Facebook, everybody changes.
Yeah.
So yes, you can discount it, you can put it on clearance, but if it's a product that you continue to sell and it has such value, to sell it at a clearance price, you got to come up with a good reason. You could be like, it is my birthday and I know I'm giving this away very ridiculously,
Right.
Then,
like a one-time, once a year thing, not like ongoing.
Yes, do it once a year. I'm doing this madness sale on Cyber Monday. I'm only doing this time of year, so come and get it. Because it's my charity. But and think of it from that perspective. And let people know that just once a year, but not all the time.
Yeah. Well, I so enjoyed talking with you today, Melissa. We'll have to do this again.
Yeah,
I did tell you, Rosh and Mike, that I do want to do some type of a marketing workshop over the summer. So we'll definitely touch base on that, and I'll hear from them and see if that's something they want to move forward with. So hopefully we'll see you at the April event. Thank you for coming out in January. I don't really know what your interest is in real estate, but I appreciate you coming out to represent the organization.
Yep.
So like I said, hopefully we'll see you in April. And if we need some help with the marketing efforts as we get closer to the date, we'll definitely let you know that too.
Yep. You know how to reach me.
We sure do. Okay. Thanks so much, Melissa. Have a great evening. Okay.
You too.
Bye-bye.